I got a skirt too here. It's January 6th, 2013, and I just want to make something clear about General Hospital because this is irritating the fuck out of me. If you go to the GH Facts of YouTube or Facebook, things on there piss me off. One, they're talking about who Sabrina is. Okay? A while back I heard rumors that Sabrina may be Lucy's adopted daughter, which is Scott Baldwin's daughter grown up, and I'm like, one, the person that played Sabrina was a blonde. Two, Lucy would know if that was her kid or not because she was the mother. Duh. But yet, we haven't heard one thing about Lucy talking about Sabrina or Christina at all as her kids from back in the day of Port Charles. So I don't know about that. Then people are saying it would be nice if Robert had another kid, like make Ethan his son. No, Ethan is not his son. They made it Luke's son. They're not going to change it. Luke's already done said that he lied about that. If you were watching, you would know that. I know Robert doesn't need another kid. And no, when Sabrina first got on the show, they didn't introduce her as nothing. They just said her name was Sabrina, and that's that. She's not anybody's adopted cousin of anything. She's just a new character that's on the show. She's not related to, the character is not related to anybody that is already on the show. So get over yourselves. That Brittany girl, don't get me started with her. She is a fake ass bitch and needs to, she irritates me just as much as Carly irritates me. And I like to see Carly die. Just bring that out. And then they were doing a death count on the channel. She thinks 14 people have died, and she counts the people that are still alive as one of the 14 people that died because they were dead, but then they came back to life. No, you don't go dead and then come back to life. It's not like you can't even do that in real life. For crying out loud. If you're pronounced dead, you're dead. You don't come back to life. And then she's like, yeah, well, they think Robin's dead, so we'll count that. No, you don't count that. You know she's alive. Just because everyone else in the town thinks she's dead doesn't mean you count it. Sorry, that's just not how it works. And you can't count Jason yet until you see a body. No body, no truth. Because how many times have Jerry been shot, blown up, and thrown in the water and then comes back to life? Jason could be alive. He could have lost memory or is in hiding. You don't know. And there's a spoiler about the 14th about Jason. I'm not going to say what it is. But let's read what this person said on this group page. Okay, she's counting Hope and Cole. I would not count Hope and Cole as people who died on General Hospital because they weren't even on General Hospital but for 2 days and then they were done. They're from another show, so I don't count them. And I wouldn't count them either if I were you. Then you count some guy named Ronnie, whoever the fuck that is. Nobody knows who that is. And then Ina Cassadine, whoever the fuck that is. Then you're counting Margaret and Megan, whoever the fuck that is. Joe Scully Jr. You count him. I count him. And then you put Robert into the mix. You can't put Robert in the mix when Robert's not dead yet. They didn't confirm him dead. Just because he got stabbed with some kind of poison does not mean he's dead. He could come back from that. And then Anthony, yes, he's dead. Edwin, yeah, he's dead. And then you put Jason into being dead. Where's the body that claims? And they officially said dead. They didn't even have a fucking funeral for him yet, which tells me he's not dead. Because if he was officially dead, they would have a funeral, just like they did with Lila, Edward, and a bunch of other GHers. And Bernie, yeah, he counts. And Bejan, he's not dead. Bejan is in jail, so I don't know why you consider him dead. And then you go down here. Let me get down here real quick. Where you name off some other people. And then you said, let's not forget Jasper Jax was dead for a while, and Jerry. Jasper Jax wasn't even considered dead, period, ever. Just for like 2 seconds, and then he came to the hospital like, I'm alive from the explosion. You can't consider him dead. And then he comes back to life. There's no such thing. He's either dead or he's alive. If he's not pronounced dead, he's not dead. And same with Jerry. You can't put Jerry into that category when Jerry is alive. And just because the rest of the Port Charles thinks that Jerry is dead does not mean that it counts as a dead. Because if he's still alive, walking around, breathing, he's alive. So you don't count that. So the death count is not 14. Then the death person said something really interesting. I'm not going to mention names. She said, Ethan needs to stay a Spencer. Sabrina could be a Scorpio, like you said. No, Sabrina could not be a Scorpio. Now you're saying that she could be a Scorpio with Robert or Max, or no. And then you're like, then you said something about, yeah, there's no more Scorpios, and there's 3 quartermates. Mac is still alive, hello. Maxie's still alive, hello. Robert is still alive, because they haven't confirmed him dead yet, hello. And then y'all are like, well, Maxie's not his child, she's a Jones. Mac adopted Maxie, so yeah, she's a Scorpio. She's a Scorpio, Jones Scorpio, is what she is. She goes by Max Jones because that's what she prefers and knows herself as, even though Mac has adopted her. So yeah, so there's still 3. So you have no room to talk. You guys down below in the comments can tell me your take on this. Robert is still around. I am sure that he will come out of the coma and stir up a shock. Okay, 1, Robert's not in a coma. Or is he? We don't know yet. But what I don't like is they start out telling us having a storyline, telling us a storyline, and then they don't finish the storyline until later, until like 5 months later. I think if they're going to do a storyline, they need to continue the storyline until the end, not just cut it off in the middle. That really irritates me. I am sure that he will come out of the coma. I know that there have been many deaths in General Hospital. Jason was because Steve left and they didn't want to replace him. 1, they didn't have to kill Jason off or replace him. They could have just had him out of town. They did that once before. They could have done it now. Edward is another story. Bernie wasn't on that often anyways. Okay, saying that Bernie wasn't on that often anyway, so his death doesn't matter. It does matter because he belonged with Sonny and he helped Sonny out a lot. Bejan was an extra. Oh, they're talking about Bejan's Flacky, the one that Bejan killed, saying that he doesn't count as a death because we didn't get to know him as a character or like him as a character. He was just on 1 episode and that was that. It doesn't matter if they've been on the show a long time. It still counts no matter what. Joe and his son were probably not going to be on long. Okay, you don't know that about Trey. We don't know if Trey's dead or not, so I don't know why you're putting him in that category when he's just at the hospital right now and they're figuring things out. Yeah, Connie is going to have to make a life-death situation, but we don't know what that means yet. Robin isn't really dead, but everyone thinks she is, but a few. Just because everyone thinks she's dead does not mean she's dead. The one that I want them to get rid of and still around is Bejan, one of them. He keeps coming back to cause trouble. Dr. O needs to be taken care of. Who's Dr. O? Matt adopt. Okay, that's what I said. And then there's just many other things that go on and on and on. But my opinion is to make. So I know this is a long thing, but trying to make it short here. I have asked a couple of questions on my on my General Hospital group page. If you want the link to that, see me. Question is Trey going to die? Who do you think will get EOQ, Trey or AJ? Whatever happened to Lucy's adopted kids? What does Jerry want with Robin? Do you think Robert will die or be alive and be able to tell Anna about Robin being alive? And do you all think Jason's body will be found alive or dead? Tell me in the comments down below those answers. I'm going to get going. Bye-bye.